So I want to go off topic again and get away from guns, and I want to discuss something that's very important to me. And right now, that topic is the Patriot Movement within the United States. If you look over almost any social media page, you see tons of militia groups, 3%ers, Oath Keepers, all these different groups. And they are espousing the values that this country was founded on. They are absolutely vilified in the media. You know, oh, militias at the Bundy Ranch, militias at the border, militias here, militias there. But let me ask you a question. Look behind what MSNBC and ABC and CBS and all these other left-wing media outlets are saying. Why are there militia at the Bundy Ranch? Why are there militia on the border? Because this administration is running wild. They have refused to enforce the immigration laws that are on the books. They have refused to rein in departments that are out of control. DHS, NSA, TSA. Why does an 80-year-old woman in a wheelchair going through a metal detector in an airport have to be pulled out of that chair, physically supported and physically searched, when a woman in a burqa can walk right through? Have we gone that far away from the values of everyone in this country being equal that can happen? Obviously, the answer is yes, in my mind. I used to travel quite a bit before I took my present job as a mobile device manager. I was in a different city every week. I was the guy who set the car alarm off on his car every night walking out of the restaurant, because every week I was driving a different car, a different rental car. I have seen the results of having 4 S's in the bottom right-hand corner of your boarding pass. It's happened to me. Not on a regular basis, but it has happened to me. That's where you get pulled away for special security screening. And it happens at random, and it also happens if your name is on a watch list. As I said before, it happened to me at random intervals, not every time. But I have seen 80-year-old women being physically searched, getting, touched, getting the waistbands of their pants searched. And I have seen a woman in a burqa, the only thing sticking out was her eyes, waltz through as if nothing was wrong. Where all men are created equal. All people deserve equal treatment under the law. That is one of the founding precepts of this country and our Constitution. And we have gotten so far away from it. Yet the people who would return our government to that Constitution and to those founding precepts are vilified in the press. Why? Where does that come from? I don't know. But let's talk about what I know best, and that is the 3%ers. I am a member of the Pennsylvania 3%ers. Absolutely. I make no bones about it. I'm proud of it. And I will not hide that fact. Let's talk about what the 3%ers are. We are a group of people dedicated to family and the principles that this country was founded on. But if someone were to come out and openly say that, They would be ridiculed, they would be vilified in the press, and put on a watch list, more than likely. What an insult. To say that you are for the Constitution, for the Bill of Rights, and you get put on a list for domestic terrorists. Are you kidding me? Now, I'm not a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy nut. In fact, I try to stay very far away from that. But it's hard when you see people such as myself being put on a watch list. What is the logic behind that? Some people would say, I'm asking questions. I'm not offering answers. I'm asking questions. And as always before, as I have done many times in my videos, I have encouraged you to do your own research, get your own answers. Because any knowledge you work for, you will retain, and any knowledge is a good thing. So, if I say I'm pro-Constitution, pro-liberty, pro-freedom, and the government is putting me on a watch list, does that not indicate some higher level of conspiracy? Or some higher level of fear that the powers that be know that they are not honoring their oaths? They know they are doing the wrong thing, but they want to protect their power and position. I believe when Thomas Jefferson was acting as the ambassador to France, I believe, he wrote a letter back to the other founding fathers in America, thanking them for delivering to him a copy of the Constitution. And in that letter, one of his most famous quotes came about. And that was, "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants." In that same letter, he also talked about having a revolution every 20 years, because a little revolution is good for the soul. It reminds the government that the people have the power. It keeps the government in fear of the people, and that is the way it should be. They need to fear us. They need to fear us at the polls. They need to fear us in public forums. And they need to fear our right to keep and bear arms. When? They need to fear us when they are not honoring their oaths of office. If you look at any oath, military enlisted, military officer, police, state police or local police, congressmen, senators, and in the state house and state senates, if you look at any of those oaths, right at the top of that oath is to support and defend the Constitution. Yet we would have people say, oh, we need to ban this, we need to ban that. Dianne Feinstein, if I could get away with it, I'd tell all of Mr. and Mrs. America, turn in your guns. How is that honoring your oath? It is not. You are a traitor and should be tried and upon conviction hung. Done. There are so many quotes from history by our founding fathers signatories, whatever, people who signed the Declaration of Independence. One of my favorites is Ben Franklin. We must all hang together, or assuredly we will all hang separately. And what he meant by that is, if we fail, we will all hang together as traitors. But if we do not hang together, and we one by one, they would be hung separately as traitors, as the British troops marched down and took more and more territory. Find this man, yep, there he is, he's a traitor, hang him, done. And these are the times they lived in. Unfortunately, I believe these are the times we are living in now. A federal government run rampant. State governments run rampant. Running roughshod over the rights, the freedoms, and the liberties given to us by God, guaranteed to us by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. New York State. Really? You can't buy a large Pepsi because it makes kids fat in New York City? Something like that. Now that was repealed, but I mean, come on, really? Connecticut. Didn't the governor of Connecticut almost declare a state of martial law or something over Ebola with not one reported case of Ebola in the state of Connecticut? This is the same place where they said you got to register your guns, and hundreds of thousands of people didn't. My applause and my support to our brothers in Connecticut who did not comply with that unconstitutional and flagrantly illegal law to register their guns. California, don't even get me started on the left coast. That the which brings me to another quote of Ben Franklin's. Those who would give up essential liberties to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And a derivative of that quote is actually engraved on the wall, on the steps leading up to the State House, the State Capitol building in Pennsylvania. And that derivative is, those who would sacrifice liberty for safety deserve neither. Now that is engraved on the wall in stone on the State House in Pennsylvania. That original quote was from a letter to the governor that Franklin wrote on the 11th of November, 1755. It speaks more to the point. And more to the point of this video than anything else. So my point of this video is to open your eyes, to encourage you to get involved. Research your lawmakers, the people who represent you. Yes, the midterm elections are over. I know that. We do have a little time now that we have a lame duck traitor in the White House, and we have a Republican-controlled Congress and a Republican-controlled Senate. Now, the Republicans, you're on the bubble. Do what you promised you would do. Get rid of Obamacare. Enforce immigration law. And if necessary, get that traitor out of my White House. Simple enough. But for the average person out there, Buy a gun. Get trained. Join a group. Make contact with your local militia. Make contact with your local 3% group. We're out there. We're everywhere. There are 3% chapters in all 50 states. Find them on Facebook. Do a search. Get in contact. Find out what they stand for. We stand for some really radical ideas. Family, freedom, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. Boy, those are some really radical ideas here in 2014 America. So if you're going to brand me a domestic terrorist for espousing the values that the Constitution was written on and that the Bill of Rights was written on, then by all means you can brand me as such. And that's all I got to say, with the exception of to leave you with one more quote from Benjamin Franklin. Beer is living proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. Thanks for watching The Basement Gun Shop. As always, I encourage you, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the questions or comments. Like the channel, subscribe, even better, and until next time, stay safe and keep shooting.